Hello everyone, it's David M. I'm back again for more history stuff. This time I'm going to talk about the unification of Germany. So let's begin. So the story starts in the year 1815 and Germany looks like this. There are there are five major countries, which are Prussia, Bavaria, Saxony, Austria and Hanover. All very important, but the two most important ones are Prussia and Austria. We've also got the minor German states, which are basically the irrelevant. And these borders were drawn up in 1815 after the defeat of Napoleon, and he made it all, most of it, the Rhineland, which is like a river. So yeah, he's gone to an island, he came back again, kicked out, and now Germany looks like this. Now, something to note here is that some but not all of it of land marked in this map is in the German Confederation, which is basically the Holy Roman Empire again. And if you want to know what Holy Roman Empire is, I mentioned that in my last video about history, about Napoleon, where I gave a brief summary of the Holy Roman Empire there. And so basically, the German Confederation was now led by the Austrians, and more specific, and who had the title of president, because that made it sound cool. Another thing to mention is that Hanover was in a union with the UK, which meant that the king of the UK was also the king of Hanover. So that's something. And even though Napoleon was gone, his ideas of the nation state were not gone; they remained. And the nation state, the idea of the nation state is based on the idea that all the people and their culture should unite into one big country, and that the people should be the physical embodiment of a nation. And since the Germans were a thing, all the Germans would have to become one country, Germany. And the main leading force of this were the Prussians. And in 1848, So in 1848, there was a revolution. Well, there were lots of revolutions all across Europe. The French got a new monarchy. The Italians tried to unite. But failed. The British were about to have a revolution, but then they got bad weather, so they just gave up. The Danish got a revolution. The Hungarians declared independence from Austria. 1848 was just absolute chaos and absolute madness. And there were people who tried to unite all of Germany into one country. They failed, but it was mainly led by the Prussians. So now the idea of Germany's unification was really in the minds of the people, but the map didn't change, so I didn't include it as a PowerPoint slide. Then things began to heat up in 1864, when the Danish basically declared that his land here, which are the Duchies of Schleswig-Holstein, he declared that they were now part of Denmark and not just like a Danish, like Danish puppets. But, however, Holstein was in Germany, which meant that the German Confederation would now have a third influence, Denmark. And the Austrians and the Prussians said, hell no! And they forced Denmark out of it. And Prussia annexed Holstein and Austria annexed Schleswig. But the Austrians weren't really happy because, see, Schleswig, it's very far away, isn't it? And this anger led to a war, specifically the Prusso-Austrian War, where basically all of Germany had to pick a side. Do you support Prussia or do you support Austria? Most people supported Austria, but Prussia won. By 1866, the war was over. Prussia annexed the entire north and became the North German Confederation. Although Saxony was not something they actually annexed, Saxony willingly joined, and the original German Confederation was dissolved, and that's why Luxembourg's gone, because they kind of just pieced out. So that's happened. So now there are only 3 major countries and 2 minor countries. There's the North German Confederation led by the Prussians. There's Austria and Bavaria. But of the minor German states, there's Brandenburg and Württemberg, and this wee little north bit here, which is Hessen. Hessen's in the North German Confederation, but not all of it. Like the Holy Roman Empire, it's very complicated and annoying. Then the French had another revolution, and look who's returned. It's Napoleon's nephew, but also his ex's grandson, which I'll explain on the Monday the 4th of Never. And so Napoleon feared that Germany was going to unite, and also because the king of Germany also not King Germany, sorry, the leader of the North German Confederation became the king of Spain, which meant Spain and Germany would be unified, and that was not something that could happen again. That already happened before, and it was very bad for French people all across France. So Napoleon said, "Hey, don't do that." Then North Germany said, "Why don't you make me?" And so Napoleon declared war. The rest of Germany, besides Austria, got involved. They defeated the French. And by 1871, the war's over. And now there are 2. There's Austria and the new German Empire, led by the Prussians. And just like that, all of Germany's united. And they took this bit here, Alsace-Lorraine, which was part of France before. But it did have a majority German population, so that's why it was shown as German. And this new Germany did lots of things, make colonies in Africa and the Pacific, get involved in World War I, and then die. The Prussian king ran off to the... Where's the mouse? Yeah, there is. He ran off to the Netherlands and died in 1941 and was buried where he lived, and not in Berlin like Hitler wanted. Well, speaking of Hitler, 1918, Germany's dead. Well, it's just remodified. And Austria's not looking so good. So yeah, that happened. And then Hitler came along and said, "Let's just conquer everything for literally no fucking reason." Oops. But that's irrelevant. That is the end, and that's a map of Europe after World War I, but I coloured in the countries. Also, if you're wondering what I make my maps on, I make it on Map Chart. Oh, I made a little error with the Polish-German border. Ah, screw it, no one's gonna care. Bye, goodbye, hope you don't die.